Many reasons exist to store a set of numbers. For example, you will need to keep track of the positions of each character in a game, and you might want to keep track of players' high scores as well. In data visualizations, you will almost always work with a sets of numbers such as temperatures, distances, population size, or altitude, longitude values, among other types of numerical sets. So lists are ideal for storing set of numbers, and Python provides a variety of tools to help you work efficiently with lists of numbers. So once you understand how to use these tools effectively, your code will work well even when your list contains millions of items. So you can also use the range function. So Python's range function makes it easy to generate a series of numbers. For example, you can use the range function to print a series of numbers like this for my value here in range, for example, from 1 to 10, and here we will print my value, and here you will see and here you will see range from 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 here. So although this code looks like it should print the numbers from 1 to 10, it doesn't print the number 10. In this example, range prints only the numbers from 1 through 10. So I want to explain this by drawing something on the screen here like that. For example, this is range here. For example, we wanted variable 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 9 and 10. Here we when we ask range for a number from 1 to 10, it will give us from here and from 1 to 9. So this is the number this code will give us here. So as I said, in this code, the range prints only numbers from 1 through 10 through 9. Let's run it again, and here, so this is another result of the off by 1 behavior you will see often in programming languages, and the range function causes Python to start counting at the first value you give it, and it stops when it reaches the second value you provide. Because it stops at the second value, the output never contains the end value, which would have been 10 in this case. To print numbers from 1 to 10, you will do this. Just 11, write 11, and that's it. Here, as you can see, we printed values from 1 to 10. So if your output is different from what you expect when you are using range, try adjusting your end value by 1. So you can also pass range only one argument, and it will start a sequence of numbers at 0. For example, range 6 here will return the numbers from 0 to 6. So you can also use the range to make a list of numbers. So if you want to make a list of numbers, you can convert the results of range directly into a list using the list function. So when you wrap list around the call to range function, the output will be a list of numbers. In this example, in the example of previous section, we simply printed out series of numbers, and we can use list to convert that same set of numbers into a list. So in order to do that, we will do numbers, or my special numbers equals list here and range 1 6 or 111 here. So now we have to add here, and we will add, after that we will print the my special numbers. That's it. Here you can see the 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So we can also use the range function to tell Python to skip numbers in a given range. If you pass a third argument to range here, Python uses that value as a step size when generating numbers. For example, here's how I'll list the even numbers between 1 and 10. We will do here 2, and we will do 2 here again, and here, and as you can see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So in this example, the range function starts with the value 2 and then adds 2 to that value. It adds repeatedly until it reaches or passes the end value 11. I want to also illustrate this on screen here. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. So here, what you see is, so here we are saying that we will start from 2 and end from 10, 11, but this means 10 here, as we explained here. So we will start from the 2 here. So we will start first from this 2, 4, because as you can see here, we are passing 2 in each number, and then we come here, and here we go to 6, and here we come here, and here we go to 8, and here we are, and then we are going to 10, and this is where our range ends. So you can create almost any sets of numbers, or you want to use you can also create almost any set of numbers you want to using the range function. So for example, consider how might make a list of the first 10 square numbers, that is the square of each integer from 1 through 10 in Python, which is 2 asterisks like that. So let's actually close this. So now here's how you might put the first 10 square numbers onto a list. So here we have a my special, or my squares here, squares, and here we will create an empty list. Now we will use the for loop, my value here in range, and here we will start from 1 to 11, and here we will use the my squares here equals my value asterisk 2, add dual asterisk here, and 2, and here we will use my squares here that append or my value here, here my squares that append or my square here, and we will change it, my square equals my value asterisk 2, and here we will use my squares that append the my square, and that's it. And after that, of course, we will need to print the squares here, but outside the for loop. As you can see here, we are printing outside the for loop, squares here, or my square. Yeah, that's it. Now let's run it, and as you can see here, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 38, 49, 64, 81, and 100. So we start with an empty list called squares here. Actually, let me here. So here we start with the empty list called my squares. Here, let's actually use that marker. So here we start with the empty list called my squares. Then we tell Python to loop through each value, from 1 to 10. In this case, we write 11 using the range function. So inside the loop, the current value is raised to the second power and assigned to the variable my square here. Each new value of square is then appended to my square list here. As you can see here, we are using append here. So this works like that. For example, this is our my squares here, and here we added, and then another loop comes, we added another value, and then another loop comes, we added another value inside it, and until the 10 times here. So that's it. And finally, when the loop has finished running, the list of squares is printed on the screen.